My prayers are with the Catholic Church in a very special way today, and in particular the western lung of the Catholic Church, the Latin Rite Church. As you may have heard, the Society of St. Pius X, known as the SSPX, a very traditional group of worshipers in the Latin Rite of the Church, ordained 4 bishops against the will of the Pope of Rome. And this has just resulted in a declaration of excommunication, not only for the clergy of the SSPX, but also for laity who attend those masses. This is a very big crisis. It's somewhat unprecedented, at least in recent times. And so my prayers are with the whole church, the Pope, everybody involved. The question really is not so much the Mass itself, the traditional Latin Mass versus the Novus Ordo Mass. That's a part of it, but that's not the real question. The real question here, and what inspired the excommunication, is this whole question of authority in the church, papal authority and obedience, which is a big question. It's a big question that actually is probably the most burning question in ecumenical dialogue between the Roman Catholic Church and the Orthodox churches. The whole question of papal authority and the extent of that authority. Many people ask, well, what about the Eastern Catholic churches? The Eastern Catholic churches have a different tradition, different liturgy. And although we follow the Pope, the Pope is our highest authority, of course, he doesn't have the authority to change our liturgy, because it's a whole different liturgy. It's a different liturgical tradition. The whole question of liturgy, Novus Ordo versus traditional Latin Mass and so on, is relative to the liturgical traditions of the West, the western lung of the Church. And just because he's the Pope, he can't just go to the East and say, well, you have to do a Novus Ordo Mass now, not your own liturgy. In fact, the recent popes, both the most recent popes especially, have been very, very complimentary and encouraging about the Eastern Catholic churches returning to and preserving without reservation their traditional liturgies, their traditional customs and spirituality and so on. So we're going to talk more about this, especially as regards the Eastern Catholic churches and also the Orthodox churches. But in the meantime, let's all pray. Let's all pray hard for the church, because most likely what would be helpful is continued dialogue, continued accompaniment, as Pope Francis would say and Pope Leo would say, because there's a lot here, and there's a lot of credible positions on both sides. So let's pray for unity in the church, and we'll talk more about this next time.